I'm Lloyd Bonson, and you join me today at Brands Hatch for the opening round of the 2017 BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. The championship continues to grow from strength to strength, and a testament to that is Adam Rees, who has flown over all the way from Jersey to take part this weekend. Adam, you've only come into the series this weekend, your first race, and you flew over last night.
I did. I got on the late BA flight, got in at about 7 p.m. last night, got to the track at 9 p.m. because there's a bit of a delay at Gatwick, and here I am, and went out sort of an hour ago. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
First time at Brands Hatch?
First time at Brands Hatch, first time in this car. So yeah, it was a little bit of an eye opener, shall we say, but great fun, absolutely great fun. Really enjoyed it.
Well, we look forward to seeing you racing this weekend, and we look forward to seeing you some more in the championship. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks ever so much. Thank you.
Adam races in Group B today, so hopefully we'll see him later on in the programme. The grid for this one, though: Will Blackwell, Chambers and Ollie Allwood, Michael Fisk and Charlie Bird on the front two rows, Stuart Simmons and Samuel Smith from Paul Tucker and John Langridge. Then it's Patrick Lay and Kevin Brent from Patrick Collins and Brian Trott, Martin Tolley and Simon Baldwin row 7 from Josh Jackson and Jack Wary, Courtney Milnes and Paul Bateman on row 9, Jason Greatorex and Richard Collins next from Matt Pickford and JJ Clements, Christian Young and Paul Maguire 24th. Simon Goddard and Sam Gendy, followed by Anthony Hutchins and Stephen Foden, Stuart Brittle and Ivan Leary, Adam Craig and Simon Orange ahead of Bryn Griffiths and Oliver Robinson. So 34 cars out of an entry of 52 drivers. It's actually Blackwell, Chambers and Fisk on the front row with Smith and Tucker on row 2 because we are in a restart situation here. The remaining 9 minutes of the race to go. Great start then by Will Blackwell Chambers, who leads. Michael Fisk is in second initially. We go on board with Kevin Brent, who started in 10th position on the grid. Look at it, this is so crowded. 52 drivers entered this weekend, the top 34 in this race. That is all we can cope with. It's all that the Indy circuit is licensed for. And just look at this mega entry. Absolutely superb entry for the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship, opening race of the year. Wide line there from Simon Baldwin, the blue car with the gold stripes. He's a little bit further back than we would expect to see him. John Langridge in 15, the white car with the purple roll cage, looking on the inside line of the red 94 car of Charlie Burge. The green wheels of Langridge, the ex-BRSCC Fiesta class champion. So wants to get a move on. Now what's he going to do here? There's no room on the inside, so possibly might be a bit of room on the inside. Going down into paddock, and Langridge slingshots down the inside, but he's got an armful of opposite lock, and he's in the gravel. I thought for a nasty moment that was going to tip over. It did seem to land at an angle. Cars can dig into the gravel and then roll. The good news is for John Langridge it didn't roll. The bad news is he's out of the race. Quick glimpse there of 20 Paul Maguire in the middle of the pack, and we pick up on car number 8 Michael Fisk. 8 podiums last year. It looks like he's on for another podium. Up ahead of him at the moment is Samuel Smith, and Fisk has got after that front row outside start, which can be perceived sometimes as having an advantage, but it looks like Sam Smith got a very good run off the front off the inside of the second row, which of course was at the front of this massive entry. But Will Blackwell Chambers starting to get away. Michael Fisk, I think, getting some ground over Paul Tucker momentarily. Tucker on his rear end at the moment going down through paddock. So Michael Fisk comes up Halewards into Druids and will start thinking about what he can do about the second place driver up ahead of him. Will Blackwell Chambers, though, the race leader, getting away. This is the point on the circuit where we tend to get the track limits chestnut. The bottom of Graham Hill Bend, or bottom of Graham Hill going into Graham Hill Bend before Cooper Straight, as we pick up on Ollie Allwood in 63. Started this one in 5th place. Ollie Allwood originally qualified on the front row, so a little bit of slippage from Allwood, who we saw last year take podiums in all of the first 7 races of the year in his chase of Tom Roche, the eventual champion, the Cardiff man, who's racing in Mazda Super Cup this weekend. And indeed this season we've got waved yellow flags for John Langridge's car, so no overtaking at paddock. That is for sure going to cramp the style of some of the drivers. So Blackwell Chambers from Smith, Fisk, red and yellow means it's Paul Tucker, and then Stuart Simmons, followed by Ollie Allwood. And Allwood here in the white car with the blue trim, having a little bit of a look. Too far back to do anything at Graham Hill Bend. Both of them behaving themselves on track limits there, but it's Will Blackwell Chambers who is out front at the moment as we approach the halfway stage of this truncated restart as it was. Let's talk a little bit about the race format this weekend. If you've watched our championship before, you'll know that in previous years we split the entry 50-50, having Group A and Group B, as Michael Fisk adjusts his visor in the chase of Sam Smith. And is he going to look to the outside line or maybe the inside? This is all pretty much wheel for wheel at the moment between these two. In the race this weekend, and here comes Fisk making a move up the inside of Sam Smith. That was very cool indeed, from a visor adjustment to the inside line, going up Halewoods and into second position at Druids. And I'll get to tell you about the race format in a minute. Fisk goes through into second position, looks to the mirrors, and so do I, to see whether Smith is remaining in third place. Fisk very cool indeed, and now he's going to, his lap times are coming down at a greater rate than the others on circuit. So Fisk chasing Will Blackwell Chambers at the moment. Changes down going into clearways and having a good run of it at the moment as we dip down the order. Just to get the race format done for you, previous years 50-50 between Group A and B. The Mazda Super Cup this year also has huge entries, so what the organisers have cleverly done is to say, right, we'll have maximum grid sizes. We go on board with Kevin Brent, who started 10th on the grid, maximum grid sizes for the A groups, and then the remainder of the qualifiers will race in Group B together. So the Group B cars will race with the Group B Super Cup cars. The Group B Super Cup is a new thing this year. And again, the promotion and relegation thing happens where the top five from Group B get promoted to Group A for race 2, but it's not effectively getting you into the top half of the grid. As through on the inside of Paul Bateman goes Kevin Brent. Really good maneuver there. Again, you can see great awareness from Kevin Brent, super view in the mirror as well. And now we've got Paul Tucker starting to put a bit of pressure on Samuel Smith, perhaps for third place. Stuart Simmons in the mix there as well. Ollie Allwood is there. Charlie Burge in the red 94 is chasing as well. This has been a good opening race. We come then down across the line again, so Simmons coming under big pressure here from Ollie Allwood, and a surprise really to see Allwood that far down. As I mentioned, last year was very much a front runner, finished fourth in the championships, race champion. Simon Baldwin second, Michael Fisk in third place. Paul Tucker we expect to see up there, he was sixth last year. And Allwood starting to put the pressure on Simmons big time now, coming down through Graham Hill Bend. Along Cooper Straight they go, and Simmons holds sway at the moment. The 88 car, a man from Longfield, so local driver to the Brands Hatch circuit. Up ahead of him is Paul Tucker, who comes from Lichfield. Round Clark Curve and onto the Brabham Straight, and it is Will Blackwell Chambers that leads this one still from Michael Fisk. Crosses the line once again here. Fisk is chasing hard. It's Sam Smith still back in third place. I think it's going to be a surprise. We're into the last couple of laps here. I'll be surprised if maybe we get anyone else on the podium, because as you can see, Tucker and Simmons really getting stuck in together. Simmons was looking up the inside line. Ollie Allwood is on the back of that, and Tucker will just now try and break away from Simmons and see if he can have a little nibble at the 36 car of Samuel Smith. But it's still Will Blackwell Chambers who is out front, and as the clock ticks down on this one, it's going to be about a lap and a quarter to go, and Blackwell Chambers has a lead of around about 0.3 of a second. It's not a big lead at all, and that could disappear with one mistake, wipe out the momentum. The lead could be wiped out as well, particularly as Michael Fisk continues to chase. Blackwell Chambers though onto the last lap here. 1.2 miles to go around the Indy circuit for the opening race of the 2017 BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship, and it is Blackwell Chambers, who qualified on pole, who leads up into Druids. The stricken car of John Langridge still there in the gravel. Michael Fisk is in second place, and still trying to hunt down Blackwell Chambers. He's lit up the track. The purple car has gone purple on the timing screen on the first sector. It was the fastest first sector of the race out of everybody for Will Blackwell Chambers, who is starting to close in. Sam Smith still there in third, into Surtees, coming into McLaren now. That continues around into Clearways. I've got to say, it was a relatively defensive line by Blackwell Chambers, but I don't think he can lose the lead from here. But Fisk is still going purple and lighting up the track as well. It's going to be Blackwell Chambers to take the win in round one of the championship. There it is. Fisk is second and gets the fastest lap as well on the last lap of the race. So Will Blackwell Chambers takes the win. Michael Fisk second from Sam Smith, then Paul Tucker, Stuart Simmons, Simon Baldwin and Charlie Burge. Ollie Allwood from Jack Wary, Martin Tolley completes the top 10. Jonathan Clements was in 11th from Brian Trott and Patrick Lay. Josh Jackson from Jason Greatorex and Sam Gendy. Simon Goddard, Kevin Brent, Paul Bateman and Richard Collins completing the top 20. And then Patrick Collins and Paul Maguire, Adam Craig and Christian Young, Simon Orange 25th from Courtney Milnes, Stuart Brittle and Anthony Hutchins, Matt Pickford 29th. Drivers going into Group B for race 2, Bryn Griffiths, Oliver Robinson, Ivan Leary, John Langridge and Stephen Foden, of course, the two non-finishers, and we'll have more Mazda action for you after this break.
Position for the 1B race on the Mazda MX-5 Championship. What are your thoughts going out there into the race?
Do the best I can, really. Get a good start. I'm going to try and mix it in with a Mark III's if I can. I looked at some of their times and I'm a little bit quicker than some of them, although they are quicker cars. So if I can get in with a few of them, get a bit of a gap and just hopefully keep it, really.
So you're hoping to use the Super Cup cars as a bit of a buffer between the rest of the competition?
That's my plan, yeah. If it doesn't work, then just defend where I can. I'm a little bit down on power. I had some testing issues with an engine. I've put a reliable engine in, hopefully, and we'll just take it from there. But hopefully, looking to win.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we'll speak to you later on.
Thank you very much.
Simon on pole position for the Mark 1s, which is row 4 as we look at it. Row 1 of the Mark 1 grid, Simon Woods and Michael Close. Then Nick Ledoyen and Clive Chisnell, followed by Max Norfolk and Paul Austin. Russ Lindsay and Bruce Carter next from Nick Riley and Teddy Clark. Alan Hawkins and Joseph Norai. Adrian Burge and Andrew Barrett, row 7. Guy Carter and Adam Rees on row 8. And then Charlie Rawls and Luke Souch. So the lights on for Group B, their race, and out go the lights. Simon Woods in orange, not making the best of starts. Very good start indeed from the outside of the front row of the Mark 1s for Michael Close in white, red and white. That's Nick Ledoyen, who's gone round the outside and is challenging Simon Woods in orange's third place in the Mark 1s. They're coming up and challenging the tail end Super Cup car as they come into Druids. That's Ian McDonald, the yellow and purple 85 Super Cup car. And that was the plan, wasn't it, for Simon Woods to try and get stuck in. But Woods has found himself down in third place at the moment in orange. Ahead of him is Michael Close, and ahead of Michael Close in the Exado car, the red and white car, is Nick Ledoyen, who came through, car number 60, came through from third on the grid and leads the group as we go on board with Russ Lindsay. Started back on the inside of the fourth row of the Mark 1s, and he's already looking to make a little bit of progress, and he's going to try and squeeze his way up the inside line here of Paul Austin in car number 30, the Hawley-based driver. This Paul's local track, Hawley down of course near Gatwick Airport, and he's been deposed by the Hampton Court racer. Russ Lindsay, the Infinity Creative Media sponsored and entered car, goes through, makes up a place. And the aim of this group, obviously, the highest you can get is obviously first place, but the top 5 will be promoted into Group A for the second race. Re-establishing himself at the front now is Michael Close, with Nick Ledoyen second, coming under pressure from Simon Woods. And Woods very close indeed. Out of Graham Hill Bend, they've got Ian McDonald immediately behind them in the Super Cup car. So that Super Cup car providing a little bit of a buffer to the Mark 1 podium positions at present. Down behind them, we've got, I think, Paul Austin in yellow, who's making progress as well. But here we come across the line. Nick Ledoyen is going to make a move, and he's putting the pressure on Michael Close. Goes wide into Paddock Hill Bend. He'll be looking for the cutback, maybe a gap up Halewoods Hill in towards Druids. The gap you can see coming down between the two cars. Is he going to squeeze up the inside? No, he's not, because coming across is Michael Close. That was fair play by Michael Close, who held on to the lead. Well, some good racing then, as we've seen in the A group, and that carries on down into the B group. And you've just got to love this format, because it gives drivers in the second half of the field, as we look at Paul Austin, it gives them a chance to have their own moment of glory, which is absolutely superb. So Paul Austin in 30, he's being followed at the moment by Max Norfolk in the dark green 56 car, who goes through, and a little bit of contact from Alan Hawkins, who's looking up the inside line there. Hawkins in 722. I remember him racing in Fiat many years ago, and he's having a good challenge. Good to see Alan Hawkins, the Worcester Park based driver, second generation driver as well, coming through on the inside line, and he's going to try and make the move on Norfolk. Down behind them as well, we have the blue car of Bruce Carter, 57, you might remember from last year. Clive Chisnell getting stuck in here as well with Duncan Harris. Duncan Harris, one of the Super Cup cars. So Harris on the inside, Clive Chisnell being made to look around the outside line, and let's see whether Clive can do it. On to the last lap, and watching the battle between Alan Hawkins in the metallic green car, who was right of shot. In the mix as well is Jeremy Crook. The 77 car is the overall race leader in the Mazda Super Cups, and looking on the inside line of him at the moment is Paul Austin. Nick Ledoyen is leading the Mark 1s from Michael Close and Russ Lindsay, then Simon Woods, and Alan Hawkins there is going to take fifth place. He's going to go up to Group A. Here is the checkered flag. Hawkins has got to do another lap, so he might not hang on to that fifth place. We saw Jeremy Crook take the checkered flag for the Mark III Super Cup cars, but the Mark 1 race was won by Nick Ledoyen, the man from Edgbaston, with in second position Michael Close, who along with Russ Lindsay, Simon Woods and Alan Hawkins go up into Group A for the next race. Bruce Carter next from Paul Austin and Teddy Clark. Max Norfolk and Clive Chisnell completing the top 10. Adrian Burge was next from Guy Carter and Andrew Barrett. Joseph Neorai in 14th from Adam Rees and Luke Souch. Charlie Rawls next, non-finish for Nick Riley. Race 2A coming to the grid. Will Blackwell Chambers looking to make it 2 out of 2. Michael Fisk will be the man trying to challenge him. They complete the front row. Then it's Samuel Smith and Paul Tucker. Behind Tucker, we have Stuart Simmons and Simon Baldwin. Charlie Burge on row 4 with Ollie Allwood. Then Jack Wary and Martin Tolley. JJ Clements and Brian Trott on row 6. Patrick Lay and Joshua Jackson from Jason Greatorex and Sam Gendy. Simon Goddard and Kevin Brent next from Paul Bateman and Richard Collins. Patrick Collins and Paul Maguire row 11. Adam Craig and Christian Young row 12. And then Simon Orange and Courtney Milne, Stuart Brittle and Anthony Hutchins row 14 from Matt Pickford. 1B winner, Nick Ledoyen, Michael Close, Russ Lindsay, Simon Woods and Alan Hawkins completing the complete lineup of 34 cars. Remember, we can have no more on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, hence the splitting of A and B groups. A little bit of creeping here and there, but a cracking start by Will Blackwell Chambers. A flying start from Paul Tucker in red and yellow from the outside of row 2. Slotting into second though goes Michael Fisk. It looks a little bit slow, I have to say, for Simon Baldwin, the blue car with the gold stripe. He seemed to drop back, but he's picking up places now, and he's right in the mix on the inside of Brian Trott with Oliver Allwood in 63. Immediately behind him, we've got cement dust down at Druids, which could cause problems a little bit further down the order. But as you can see here, Simon Baldwin is starting to make good pressure. He's just out of shot head of this group with Brian Trott there. Here's Kevin Brent, who started from 18th on the grid, that mirroring his position from race number 1, and now chasing Patrick Collins, who started 20th. So both drivers looking to get stuck in these early stages. You can see the sun going low in the sky now, which could cause problems for these drivers. We are later on in the day. These meetings, incidentally, of course, are 2-day meetings, and this you'd be forgiven for thinking we're all the cars dicing for the lead, but in actual fact we've got Blackwell, Chambers and Fisk down the road. So in third place is Simon Baldwin. There goes Blackwell, Chambers and Fisk. Here comes Simon Baldwin now up into third place. Charlie Burge in the red 94 is fourth, followed by Brian Trott, and then Paul Tucker, Oliver Allwood in behind. So the race leaders starting to get away a little bit. Blackwell, Chambers and Fisk. This is what I was talking about. You think these were the leaders really, but there is a gap developing for lead position, and a cracking battle there is going on behind. Paul Tucker coming under a little bit of pressure here from Ollie Allwood, who in turn has got the 188 car of Jonathan JJ Clements right behind him as well. So this third, fourth and fifth positions in shot at the moment. Fifth place is Brian Trott. See whether Brian can close down on Charlie Burge, the Suffolk racer. The point system for this, 100 points for an A group win, and then it drops by 2 points per place right the way down the order. So it means that we've got 34 cars in this race, so the winner of the B race will pick up 2 points less than the man 34th in this race. Hope that all makes sense to explain how the championship points go. Stuart Simmons passes Samuel Smith, who'll try and return the favour here. Meanwhile, the third place car of Simon Baldwin, after a sixth place finish in race number one, hoping to make it a podium here, but under a fair bit of pressure at the moment from Charlie Burge. And then in behind the 83 of Brian Trott, who's up from 12th place on the grid, 12th place finish, and indeed 12th on the grid in race number one, but he's coming under pressure from Paul Tucker, who looks momentarily to the outside line. So Tucker is going to try and go for the sweep round paddock, might think better of it and perhaps look for a gap on the inside as they head down to the bottom of Halewoods Hill. They'll climb up the hill in towards Druids again. Top two are through, so too is Simon Baldwin. Charlie Burge still not that far behind, and Paul Tucker in with this gaggle of cars, all squabbling really over the third step on the podium just now. But it's Blackwell Chambers still out front from Michael Fisk through Graham Hill Bend. I think we only had the one penalty for track limits in race number one, which was poor old Ollie Allwood, and that dropped him back down into 8th position in race number one. 5-second penalty for his trouble, so he'll be extra careful here as Charlie Burge has a problem and ran wide there. Now, did he miss a gear, or was that just running wide? But he's lost 2 places. Brian Trott goes through, and so too as well did Paul Tucker. This is the battle for 10th place. We've got Sam Gendy ahead of Patrick Lay, with Jason Greatrex in the mix as well, and Patrick Lay is piling the pressure on. Is he going to look at the inside line? Well, you have to say that Gendy was keeping it fairly tight there and didn't want to leave the door open on the inside, but he might carry momentum wide up the hill into Druids. Here comes the 10th place battle. He's still sticking to the inside line. Patrick Lay therefore goes to the outside. Jason Greatrex will challenge as well, but Lay still has what was the outside, now the inside going down into Graham Hill Bend. 10th place still with Sam Gendy, and we'll pick up after the break. Out front and onto the last lap, Will Blackwell Chambers still leads. Michael Fisk in second position, but Fisk, as you can see, is closing up. Fastest lap of the race so far is with Martin Tolley. He's just set that now, and Fisk looks round the outside line up at Druids. Nothing doing there. Very tight and tidy line by Blackwell Chambers, who wants to make it a double. Coming down Graham Hill into Graham Hill Bend now. The lead extends to a couple of lengths. Fisk will try and challenge again. It's difficult for him to work out where he has an advantage. Cooper Straight, still the car's length in between the pair of them, and Blackwell Chambers has driven perfectly. Fisk has done a great attacking drive and kept him honest all the way through, and he's getting closer still. 2 wheels on the dirt, kicks up the dirt, but he's still there in second place. It's all going to be about the run-off Clark curve, and it looks as though Will Blackwell Chambers is going to make it 2 out of 2. He's holding station from Michael Fisk. They're about 4.5 seconds clear of the third place battle. Blackwell Chambers from Fisk. Simon Baldwin is next across the line on his own to complete the podium. Then it's Paul Tucker from Oliver Allwood and Charlie Burge. Martin Tolley in 7th place. Also hung on to the fastest lap. JJ Clements came home in 8th place ahead of Samuel Smith, and also maintaining station ahead of Patrick Lay. 11th went to Stuart Simmons from Simon Goddard and Kevin Brent. Then Sam Gendy and Jack Wary, Jason Greatrex from Joshua Jackson, Christian Young, Paul Maguire 19th, Adam Craig in 20th. Then Simon Orange, Anthony Hutchins, Patrick Collins, Courtney Milnes, Stuart Briscoe, Simon Woods from Nicola Doyen, Michael Close, Alan Hawkins. Down into B for race 3, Matt Pickford, Russ Lindsay, Brian Trott, Richard Collins and Paul Bateman.
Will, once again, on top step of the podium, how are you feeling?
Yeah, pretty happy around about now. Can't believe it, to be honest. Never thought coming in this weekend we'd have this kind of success so far, but no, I'll definitely take it.
It's a great start to the season. I'm guessing the plan is to try and keep it up for the rest of the year.
It'd be nice. Here's to hoping, but no, we're going to keep banking the points, keep trying to be as consistent as possible, and see how many sort of trophies, podiums, and points we can collect during the year.
Fantastic. Now, Mike, it was a really, really close run there over the last couple of laps, but just not quite enough. What have you got to do to beat this guy?
Well, he needs to leave the door open first, I think. Yeah, the pace was good, the car's really good. AB Motorsport have done a fantastic job with that. But yeah, I just didn't really get the opportunity, I don't think, in that race. I was waiting, but then the last lap board came out, had a couple of goes, but I didn't really get the opportunity.
And I guess the problem as well here is, in a way, you're starting on the wrong side of the grid to try and get past him at the start.
Yeah, the start's difficult here, and I got a better start that time than I did at the restart in the first race. I managed to get across, and to be honest, starting on the outside of here, if I can tuck in and take second and get the inside, I'm happy with that, and we'll do it in the rest of the race.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we'll speak to you again tomorrow. And Simon, brilliant. What a great weekend so far for you, because you qualified quite a way down.
I did indeed, yeah, 14th, so yeah, I'm pretty pleased to be up on the podium, really. So we've had a lot of mechanicals, it's a new car, and I'm dead happy with that. So maybe tomorrow we'll have give these guys a bit more of a race, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll be in a good place on the starting grid. Hopefully, if you get away like you've done in the last couple of races, it could be a bit more interesting tomorrow.
Yeah, you always hope to get away, but you're never quite sure whether that can happen. You've got a lot of guys behind us that are, all but as quick, really, if they concentrate. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
So race 2B gets underway, and we have on pole position Bryn Griffiths with Oliver Robinson, then Ivan Leary and John Langridge. Then it's Stephen Foden, row 3 from Bruce Carter, Paul Austin and Teddy Clark ahead of Max Norfolk and Clive Chisnell. Adrian Burge with Guy Carter, row 6, row 7, Andrew Barrett and Joseph Norrie. Then Adam Rees and Luke Souch, Charlie Rawls and Nick Riley completing the grid. Remember, it's the second group of cars that we're looking at, with Bryn Griffiths in pole position in blue. The white car of Oliver Robinson alongside, great start from the second row white car of John Langridge. Even better though from row 3, the darker blue of Bruce Carter goes round the outside on board with John Langridge. Langridge on the outside of Oliver Robinson. He's got a fair amount of work to do. Remember, had that off at Paddock Hill Bend in race number 1A, but he's not afraid to go through on the outside line. We would expect him to make progress. The lime green car there is Teddy Clark, number 10, and Teddy out on the wide line. He's got Ivan Leary to his inside. Good move by Clark down the inside now, trying to go through at Graham Hill Bend, which he does. So very good move indeed by Teddy Clark. And just look at this field. Remember, we've got the Super Cup cars starting in front of these runners, and we'd expect them to pull away. This is the view from John Langridge, though. We're heading into the sun late in the day on day 1 of our meeting here at Brands Hatch, and Langridge is on a mission. He's coming through Clark Curve on the Brabham Straight, and he's shaping up to make a pass. Will he go inside or outside? It looks like he's going to favour the inside line. Is there going to be a gap? Is he going to go for the lunge? He's having a look now. It's Bryn Griffiths, the Horsham driver, who is there, who runs wide. Griffiths might have more momentum here up the hill, and Langridge might have to wait for his moment to try and challenge for what will be the class lead effectively here. Griffiths again runs wide, but should maintain that initiative down Graham Hill. He's got the inside line, of course, for Graham Hill Bend, the left-hander here, which leads on to the Cooper Straight. Well, things have sorted themselves out now, and as you can see, number 19 car, Oliver Robinson, has made a good run. We're looking at second, third and fourth places. Third and fourth in shot now. Bryn Griffiths being chased by Oliver Robinson. So Robinson is having a very good look up the inside line there from Griffiths. John Langridge, incidentally, is the man on a mission and away in the lead, having worked his way through from fourth position on the grid. Some say that the outside line at Brands Hatch is often more conducive to starts if you're on a side-by-side start, but I don't think he's ever an easy start anywhere other than pole position. And this battle really shaping up very nicely indeed. So let's see what Oliver Robinson can do about Bryn Griffiths, who is in front. It's Bruce Carter in second place, just going out of shot. John Langridge's lead now is a couple of seconds. He's getting away from the field with Bruce Carter in 57, still in second place, the man from Stockport. And third position, Oliver Robinson. It'd be good for Oliver to get a podium, and that's the beauty of this three-race format with the A and B groups. It does give drivers in the B group very often their first taste of either race wins or podia, or indeed things like fastest laps as well. 57, Bruce Carter then still holds sway in second position. Oliver Robinson in white is third. Bryn Griffiths in fourth place. So really you've got to say those positions looking relatively settled at the moment, and only one more car behind these will go up into Group A for race 3. So Langridge is away and down the road. These three, second, third and fourth. Who is going to get that fifth position and go up into Group A? Robinson challenging hard and having a good go at Bruce Carter. Bryn Griffiths is by no means finished either, back in fourth position, so this one really the positions could swap, and particularly the podium positions. The group chasing fifth place includes Nick Riley, Guy Carter, Ivan Leary and Teddy Clark, who we saw make a move, and you just caught sight of the pack at the other end of Cooper Straight. So here they come through clearways once again. Carter from Robinson and Griffiths. Very wide line here from Bryn Griffiths, and he might try and gain some momentum. Well, I was talking about the battle that's going on behind, and here it is. Guy Carter is at the head of this little group. The light blue, or golf livery if you will, of Nick Riley is the third of these cars, the second of which is Ivan Leary. The fourth is Teddy Clark in green, and they come up the hill, so some good place changing going on between these cars, and a look up the inside line by Nick Riley trying to make the position, and Riley here's got to make it stick from Ivan Leary. Has got through. Ivan Leary loses the place, and now we've got Teddy Clark getting involved as well, but Clark is on the wrong side of the track there as they hit the apex at Graham Hill Bend, and Ivan Leary's going to hold on to position, but I don't think Ivan's going to make the cut to join Group A. This driver though definitely will do. We're on board with John Langridge with what will be his first BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship race win. He'll want some outright ones for sure, and I think he'll probably get those, and he'll be up near the sharp end of things, but for the moment a Group B race will do for him. Checkered flag for John Langridge. We wait. It's a long wait. It's 9 seconds back to Bruce Carter here in blue. Oliver Robinson is next in white, then Bryn Griffiths. Nick Riley came through for fifth position. John Langridge also getting the fastest lap of the race. Then behind Nick Riley, Guy Carter, Ivan Leary seventh from Teddy Clark, then Stephen Foden, Clive Chisnell completing the top 10 in that one. Charlie Rawls, fine drive through the pack from the back into 11th place in class from Max Norfolk and Andrew Barrett, then Adrian Burge, followed by Luke Souch, Adam Rees and Joseph Norrie. Non-finish in that race, sadly, for number 30, Paul Austin.
John, fantastic first victory in the Mazda MX-5 Championship. How do you feel?
Very good, yeah. It's a good start to the season. Obviously, a bit of disappointment earlier in the first race when I threw it off the road, but good way to bounce back, get the job done. We'll be in the B race later on, in the A race later on.
And thoughts going forward, because it's going to be a busy race tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, 34 on the grid, so I'll be somewhere around 30th, I guess, on the grid. And there'll be some action up front, so we'll just have to get involved and see what happens.
Well, hopefully we'll speak to you tomorrow, but we'll wait and see. Bruce, fantastic to see you on the podium. Mm-hmm. And it was a cracking race out there, wasn't it?
Busy race, yeah. Very, very busy race, yeah. But it's good fun. You got to try and not make mistakes, but it got a bit leery times. But. That's good.
And it was close at times, and I think that's one of the good things about the MX-5 Championship is it is close racing.
It's very close racing. As you know, there's 10 cars within a second or so. So if you make one mistake, you can just fall back. So you do have to try and be careful. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations, and Oliver, good to see you here on the podium. And it's as we've been saying, it's been a tough day today. It's been close racing out there, but it's been fun, hasn't it?
Real good fun, yeah, especially for my first time out onto the podium. Excellent, so I'm really chuffed with that. Big improvement from last year. Last year was my first year, so really pleased.
And looking forward to the race tomorrow, because it's going to be out there with the A boys.
Yeah. No, I've been in the A boys this morning, but dropped back to the Bs. But it's great fun. I've got the
Third race of the weekend and a capacity grid, seeing Will Blackwell-Chambers starting on pole position once again from Michael Fisk. Simon Baldwin and Paul Tucker comprise row 2. The third row, Oliver Allwood and Charlie Burge. Then Martin Tolley and JJ Clements. Sam Smith and Patrick Lay, row 5. Stuart Simmons and Simon Goddard, followed by Kevin Brent, Sam Gendy, Jack Wary and Jason Greatorex. Row 9, Joshua Jackson and Christian Young. Then Paul Maguire and Adam Craig. Row 11, Simon Orange and Anthony Hutchins from Patrick Collins and Courtney Milnes. Stuart Brittle, followed by Simon Woods, Nick Ledoyen, Michael Close, Alan Hawkins, previous race winner John Langridge, Bruce Carter and Oliver Robinson, Bryn Griffiths and Nick Riley completing, as I said, a capacity grid. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of jostling to be done as the lights go on and out very quickly indeed. A good start from all, by the look of it. A little bit slow away perhaps. Ollie Allwood, maybe really because of the other drivers getting better starts. But we go in car with John Langridge, who's working his way through from approximately 30th on the grid. I think it's Alan Hawkins who's nosing up on the inside line. So Langridge already getting stuck into the outside. Not afraid of that line, despite, of course, having the problems earlier on going in the gravel. He's round the outside of Michael Close, and immediately ahead of Michael, the orange car of Simon Woods. Langridge goes wide, and there's a purple number 8 in the mix, and that is Michael Fisk, who started on the front row of the grid. He's down the order. Now that means that up front, it's still Will Blackwell-Chambers, I think, will wait to pick up on the front runners, but Michael Fisk has lost ground. Blackwell-Chambers goes through. It's Simon Baldwin flashing through in second place, followed by Oliver Allwood. So I said that Allwood was... And contact between Paul Tucker and Charlie Burge. Tucker from row 2, Charlie Burge from row 3, and that looks to have hurt the 94 car. Now, will he carry on, or is he going to pit? So Charlie Burge... I think Paul Tucker has carried on, but Burge a little way down the order. There is Will Blackwell-Chambers, the leader. Simon Baldwin second. Oliver Allwood, I maligned him at the start. I apologise for that. He's had a super couple of laps, and he's in a podium position and challenging for second, which is where we would have expected to see him last year. Samuel Smith is in behind those, and look at the pressure that Allwood is putting on Simon Baldwin at the moment. He's all over the back of him. Behind them we've got Patrick Lay, then JJ Clements, Simon Goddard in 46, chasing Jason Greatorex in 33. Stuart Simmons immediately behind him. So we'll see whether Simon, of course, who is should be well known to our regular viewers, and we asked where Michael Fisk was. We saw him down the order, and he's trying hard here to make up some ground, but it's doubtful whether he's going to get back into a podium. 2 second places so far for Michael Fisk. But remember, this is a long championship, a very long championship indeed. 3 races at each meeting, which means 24 races over the course of the season. So Michael can afford to have the odd bad result. The car that he's chasing there is Christian Young, car number 50. And Christian, who finished in 24th in race number 1 and was 18th in race 2, so has stayed in the A group for this meeting as Goddard and Greatorex go side by side, and Goddard nips up the inside line, so the Guildford-based driver goes through, and it left the door open for Stuart Simmons as well. So Simmons read that very well. Greatorex loses a couple of positions. Meanwhile, back to second, third, fourth and fifth place. Second position at the moment is still with Simon Baldwin from Oliver Allwood. Then it's Samuel Smith, Patrick Lay immediately behind. So a quartet of cars all dicing over second place, and Will Blackwell Chambers is there, starting to build the lead. About 3/4 of a second at the moment for Blackwell Chambers. That should, in theory, stretch as Simon Baldwin might have to go a little bit defensive from Oliver Allwood. Allwood was right underneath, tailgating this car a couple of laps or so ago, so might be building momentum again as we look back to Patrick Lay. There is a bit of a gap developing now back to third place and Patrick Lay. Meanwhile, John Langridge continues his charge through the field. I wonder what his target is going to be. Possibly halfway through the field, say, maybe 15th or 16th position, I guess, would be pretty good. Makes a very neat move up the inside there. Remember, as we said, Langridge was a class champion in the BRSCC Fiesta Championship a few seasons ago, so a very quick pilot and adapting to the Mazdas very well. You might remember he had one event with us last year, and he's really getting to grips with these cars. Meanwhile, change for second place, and through into second has gone Oliver Allwood. So Ollie Allwood back not only on a podium but up into second position, and if he maintains that, the sequence of results will be 8th in race 1, 5th in race 2 and 2nd now. So very clearly in the ascendancy is Oliver Allwood. Simon Baldwin 3rd, then it's Patrick Lay. Samuel Smith trying to pile the pressure on him as well, and we'll see whether Smith can have a look at going through on the inside line. The Leicestershire based racer putting the pressure on. So Patrick Lay and Simon Baldwin are going to have to fight over that last podium position. We're around about half the way through this third and final Class A race of the weekend. 20 minutes the scheduled time. Safety car, or Purple Code 50 as it is now, will potentially eat into that if we get any drivers going off track, and very nearly going off and having a moment is Sam Gendy in the blue 69. He's got some real pace here. Gendy has set the fastest lap of the race back on lap 6, a 57.811, but has a little bit of an issue there as we go on board again with Michael Fisk, who's trying to work his way through very coolly and calmly. Michael, casual look in the mirror just to see what's going on around him. There's no space in front going into Surtees, the left-hander. McLaren here, the right-hander, and now goes through on the inside. Great move by Michael Fisk. Wasn't going to take no for an answer there, wanted that space and indeed got it. So across the line goes the 23, that is Martin Tolley, fastest lap for Martin in race 2A, and chasing Stuart Simmons and Jason Greatorex. And Simmons, well, he was chasing him, but he didn't want to follow him through the gravel. Simmons rejoins, does a very good job of keeping his foot in. There's the man who was ahead of him earlier on in the race, Simon Goddard, in 46. And Michael Fisk in car number 8 trying to work his way back up towards a potential podium. I think he's probably going to be away from that as we go in car now with Kevin Brent, car number 41, starting 13th on the grid, immediately next door to Sam Gendy. And Brent at the moment having a relatively steady race of things. Ideal racing conditions here at Brands Hatch this weekend. Brent in 41 with 18th, 13th in the previous races, but on the last lap is Will Blackwell Chambers, who has had 2 wins and looks like he's going to make it a perfect hat-trick here this weekend, no doubt being watched by last year's champion, double champion Tom Roche. This is a Roche-esque performance by Will Blackwell Chambers. Into Surtees for the last time, the gap now out to just over 3 seconds from Oliver Allwood, who has continued to impress all the way through the meeting, has kept chipping away. Looks like he's going to come home with a second place. Simon Baldwin is still there in third, but Will Blackwell Chambers will make it 3 out of 3. What a meeting for the 43 car. Blackwell Chambers takes it, and we wait. There is Oliver Allwood. Third place will go indeed to Simon Baldwin from Samuel Smith. Patrick Lay, Paul Tucker is next in 6th place, Martin Tolley in 7th, JJ Clements 8th, the recovering Michael Fisk in 9th, Simon Goddard completing the top 10 ahead of Joshua Jackson and Jason Greatorex. Great drive from John Langridge from the back to 13th. Sam Gendy Fastest lap and 14th, then Charlie Burge, Paul Maguire, Kevin Brent, Stuart Simmons, Patrick Collins and Adam Craig from Jack Wary, Anthony Hutchins, Stuart Brittle, Courtney Milnes, Bryn Griffiths, Nick Ledoyen, Alan Hawkins, Oliver Robinson, Bruce Carter and Simon Orange. The other finisher in 31st being Christian Young. Non-finishes for Michael Close, Nick Riley and sadly Simon Woods.
Well, fantastic. 3 out of 3. What's going to happen now? We'll go to Cadwell next?
Yeah, go to Cadwell. Big fan of the circuit, so we'll see what we can sort of do, see if we can try and carry some of the success across. But as I said, it's a hard championship, so we'll be lucky to do this again.
And a bit of pressure today as well from Ollie.
Yeah, definitely felt the pressure. Was watching that gap. I think I had it fairly stable, but no, the pressure's definitely there, and I think it's going to be there all year.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations, Ollie. Good to see you on the podium.
Yeah, nice to be back.
Tough race out there. It looked like you were, in a way, kind of lucky to get past Simon, but kept the pressure on well.
Yeah, it was a tough race. We were lucky to get to the grid. We had a fuel rail go down on the way to the grid, and AB Motorsport, my dad, did an amazing job of changing it all over. Got us on the starting grid, and the car was better than it's been all weekend, but we've been really struggling with balance. So just to be on the podium, really pleased with that. So big thank you to the team and my dad.
Fantastic. And Simon, good to see you on the podium again. Yeah. Tough race though.
It was a tough race, yeah. I think there was too many errors on my part on that one, but yeah, so it's not a bad result though still. Pretty pleased with that.
And Championship's very close. It's going to be a tight season. Cadwell Park next. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a long way to go, isn't it? And Cadwell Park's the next one. So yeah, I like Cadwell. Yeah, it's a very different circuit from here. So I think we'll see some different people going quick or slow, depending on your point of view.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations once again, guys. Well done on your podiums.
With 3 wins out of 3, no doubting the championship leader Will Blackwell Chambers from Michael Fisk, still in second from Simon Baldwin and Paul Tucker, Oliver Allwood 5th from Sam Smith, Martin Tolley, JJ Clements, Charlie Burge in 9th and Patrick Lay in 10th.
Well, we knew that racing in the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship was going to be close, and the races this weekend have certainly proven that. Thank you for watching, and we hope you can join us next time.